So we're going to do this segment here, traditional horror diagnosis. And this is one of the areas in the body where we can feel in a concentrated area the condition of all the organs in the body. And like we mentioned earlier, I believe it was day 2 of the 4-day training, was that the meridians are connected to the organs. So if you keep the meridians open and flowing correctly, they provide enough chi or energy to the organs. And these are reflex points in the hara, which is another name for the abdomen, lower the dantian, your focal point. And it'll show the different conditions of the organs. And what we're going to do working on Jill, can you pan over, just say Jill, is that we're going to palpate the abdomen and use this chart so we know what organs we're on. And we're going to make a note about what you feel. And what you're feeling for are just, we're going to keep it very simple because, you want to allow yourself to be very present here. One of the aspects of horror diagnosis is that you appreciate in the other person the vulnerability that they're in. Not only of the position, but also then working on the abdomen, that one of the most vulnerable physical areas in the body. And one of the reasons they use the abdomen is because of the access to actually a lot of the direct organs that we're talking about right here. So we're going to do a few things before we start. And to keep the abdomen soft, one good rule of thumb is to put something underneath the person's knees so it flattens their back a little bit. So, Jack, could you come over here? Let's see. This color's probably good for you. You got glitter on the bottom of your feet. God.
It's probably from here.
Yeah. And even more so if they feel like they're a little tight in their abdomen. You want on your legs? Or your upper torso?
Emotional issues or something, my feet.
Uh-huh. We'll hook you up. Okay. So, for nice hara, we want nice contact. And like I mentioned earlier about our body posture, our presence, our sense of touch, all reflects all in how we're here to offer service to the person. And one of the lovely ways of doing that is to work with the person's breath when we're palpating around. And what I mean by that is, first of all, we're going to start by just placing our hand softly on the person's abdomen. Excuse me. And just really take the time to connect with the person and feel their breath. And as they inhale, you'll notice how my hand is rising. And on the exhale, sinking down. And this is what we do with our palpation. We go no more than they allow us to come in and out. So we're basically riding their breath. Because any more pressure than that distorts what you're feeling in the palpation. And also, it takes away their sense of control. So you want to just go in as much as they allow you to. So a very soft hand. Now, there's different patterns to palpate in order, but I'm going to liberate you from that, and I just want you to go in the pattern that makes the most sense for you. I commonly go in a circle to get all, can you pan over here again? Like I'd start here and then just come around. And then I go up the middle. And that seems to work fine for me. But I want you to be in a position where you feel good, a nice support, so I don't want you to be overextending. There's no need to go like this when you're palpating, because again, it distorts your own breath, so you want to have some nice sense of internal integrity, and that again is a clear contact, which gives better positive feedback to the person when they're receiving. It also heightens your sense of perception as far as what you're feeling. So that part's clear, going around and using the chart. And again, don't get overly focused on if you're in the exact location. Okay, I just want you to approximate, because the whole process is about how you're internally connecting to the person. You know, a lot of things around that is just to distract your mind. So you just be with the breath and just get an approximation of what we're doing, and just we're going to make a few notes. And this is what I'm going to ask you to look for. And I showed this hand exercise yesterday as far as, we'll do it again though, where now the thenar eminence, the pad of the big thumb is going to stand in for Jill's hara. Okay? And what we're, as far as our touch, what we're looking for is this. If you bring your thumb and just gently place it up against your index finger and then feel for the pad, you'll feel there's a little softness on the top, but then you feel the underlying support or structure of the muscle. Okay. So that is balance. That's good. That's what you should have. Now, if you press hard against your index finger and palpate, you'll notice there's hardly any softness, and you feel the firmness right away. That is also something you note, right? So that means there's too much. It's too full, right? And if you just shook your hand out a little bit and then just kept your hand real relaxed and just palpated, you'll notice how far in you go before you feel some structure. That's a depletion. So if I'm going around and say I'm, according to this chart, I'm right at the end of the sternum here, like right up in here is the heart reflex. You see what I'm saying? And I press in here and I feel that I go in and I'm going, I'll go in with a breath, and then I go in and I'm like, going in and it's like, I have to go in a little deep. You know, so I'm thinking maybe that's a little soft, and that might be a little, what they call a kyo, or a little depletion, right? So this is all we're looking for. It's just hard or soft, or if it registers as just nice contact, move on. Okay, but if you're working and you go, oh, this feels really hot, or if it's real hot, say if it's warm to the touch, that's also very excessive, right? Too much. Too much. Sometimes not enough. Not enough. Sometimes just right. Just right. So, and also cold is then if you feel, and a lot of times it'll feel cold, cooler to the touch. That's a depletion. So these are things: hard, soft, hot, cold. All right? And again, if you're trying to keep your breath soft and your touch soft, keep your mind soft. Okay, please. Because the body is amazing, right? We're with it every day. It does amazing things, with or without us. It's continually doing miracles, right? So it will continue to do this after this palpation. And it's a very forgiving thing. These reflexes are substantial. Okay, you be in the general area, you're good. And go in a way that supports how you can palpate in a comfortable way, right? And you're only going in as far as their breath allows, right? So that means you have to be present with every contact. You have to feel the rise and fall of their inhale and their exhale to match their, yep. Okay. So after you notice any differences or some hot or cold or soft or hard, then you look and see what meridian it is. And I just want you to pick two. Okay, just a couple. Maybe the ones that get your most attention. And then I want you to find where the meridian is. And I'd like you to do something that stretches the meridian. Some simple movement. So, because you say, okay, there's the meridian. I'm trying to get a more balanced flow through here to see if it affects what I feel in the reflex. So, yeah, I would stretch, the meridian, and then thumb or trace the meridian. And you could do singular, or you can do walking, which is very nice. right? And then to do the source point of that particular meridian. And then if you know, continuation with the whole thing. So you do that in like 2 meridians, because that's a lot. You're going to do palpation. You have to have some sort of sense of hot, is it hard or soft or hot or cold? It might not be any of those. It might be great.
Yeah.
We don't know. But the more that we take the time to relax and be present with the touch, we will. And then you write down a few discrepancies and then find those particular meridians. You stretch them and you walk the line or trace the line and then do the source point. And then you go back and see if it changed. And that's a lovely introduction to Hara because it covers the aspects of it, and not more importantly, but as important as anything else is your presence and your frame of mind when you're doing it because of the vulnerability. Okay, and that's enough info.